we start? ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य खलः प्रसीदतां ध्यायन्तु भूतानि शिवं मिथो धिया। मनस्य भद्रं भजतादधोक्षजे आवेश्यतां नो मतिरप्यहेतुकी। We are studying from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter number 10, beginning from verse number 7. And this is the story of Jad Bharat, who was a king in his past life and then became a deer and now born as son of a Brahmana. And because of his previous life which he remembers, he did not want to get attached to anybody, and therefore he did not study what his father was trying to teach him. And then he left home, and now we were reading that King Rahugana, who was going to see sage Kapila in a palanquin, and they needed some servant. Some emergency came, so Jad Bharat, who was wandering in the forest, they caught him and put him to a job. But he was not used to carrying palanquin, he was not trained for that. Moreover, he was a realized person, so he did not want to step on any ants or other creepers on the ground, so he was very careful, and thus he was not walking in harmony with other carriers. There are 8 carriers in the palanquin. So this was giving jerks to the king who was sitting and kings are not used to such things. So first he politely asked the carriers, because he didn't know who was making the mistake, that please walk in rhythm. But Bharat, he did not listen. He was not bothered about king or anyone. So the other carriers, they requested the king that we are walking in rhythm, but this new fellow is not matching with our steps. So then king became a little upset that why he is not matching and why he does not even listen to me, I am king. So then he spoke sarcastically to Jad Bharat that you are old, you are tired, and you are alone carrying it. All these things he was saying. So even after that, Jad Bharat, he did not bother. He continued. So now the king became really angry. And this is what he spoke. At punaha swashvikayam visham gatayam prakupita uvacha rahumana. So again when he saw that the people were not walking properly and he was still having the jerky ride like you had just now. So he freaked out, so to say. He lost his cool and forget about sarcastic remarks, and now he was straight. He was boiling with anger. He says, Kimidamare tvam jivan mrito mam kadarthi kritya bhartvi shasnam iti chirasi pramattas sache te karomi chikitsam dandapani viva jantaya yatha prakritim swam bhavishyasi. He says, what nonsense, you fool. Are you dead? Gods walking? That you do not care what I am saying? You don't bother about me, I am the Lord, and don't listen to my words? Are you crazy? I will treat you. Do you know the stick of punishment? And it is my job to fix people. I will bring back you to your normal state of mind. So, this is what he said. Because when no one listens to you, then stick is the last one. Even the ghosts are afraid of the stick. Not to speak of human beings. But Raghuvan was not. Bharat, he was not. So when he spoke like this, then all this time Jad Bharat, he was keeping quiet. When they asked him to come and carry the palanquin, he did not object. He says, why shall I do it? It's not my job. He said, as you like. And then when the king was speaking to him in a sarcastic manner, that had no effect on him. He was actually not in external consciousness. He was not bothered about anything. He was just walking, and if, like previously, they caught him to sacrifice in front of the Devi, he didn't object for that also. They wanted to kill him. So he didn't say, why shall you kill me? He went and they put him in front of the Kali. He sat down. They gave him food, he ate. So he was absolutely unconcerned what others were doing. He was absorbed internally. But now he thought that this king needs special grace. Because after all, the king was going to take lessons from Sage Kapila. So he realized that he is a suitable person for transcendental knowledge. So all this time, all his life, he behaved like a fool. Right from childhood he was enlightened. But to his parents, his brothers, he behaved as if he is dumb, deaf and stupid. So this is first time in his life that he decides to really speak what he is. Means his real being comes out. And this was the great fortune for this king. So it says that evam bhavu abadham bhashamanam nardevabhimanam rajsa tamsanuviddhena madena triskrita ashesh bhagavat priya niketam पंडिमानिनम से भगवान ब्राह्मणो ब्रह्मभूत सर्वभूत सुहृदात्मा योगेश्वर चर्यायाम नाति वित्पुण्य मतिम स्मय मानैव विगत स्मय idama. So now when the king was speaking incoherently, because first he was saying you are not tired, you are this, you are learned, now he was saying you are crazy, I will chastise you. So in this way he was talking incoherently, and he was proud as a king, Nardeva Bhimanam, and completely overpowered by Rajas and Tamas, anger and ignorance, not knowing to whom he is speaking. And being intoxicated, he was disrespecting the great person Jad Bharat, and he was thinking that he is learned. So now Jad Bharat, who was a great Brahmana, Brahmabhuta, who was realized, enlightened, and who was friendly to everybody, Sarvabhut Sridatma, he did not get angry, and he spoke to the king who did not know how to recognize a person who is enlightened, who is Yogeshwar, or who is the master of yoga. How does such a person behave? So he spoke to him smilingly, as if now he wants to instruct. So we see sometimes great people, when they give instruction to somebody who is thinking, who is learned, then they smile. It is also described in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna was in a similar situation. He was speaking very learned words in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, but he was also confused. So then Krishna spoke to him, Sainyorobhyor madhye, in the middle of both the same armies, Krishna spoke to him and he was smiling. So that smile is not to make fun of them. Usually you smile, you laugh at somebody. That is not to make any fun or joke, or not in a sarcastic manner. But they understand that this person is not really in knowledge, and they are amused by that. So then they speak. So this is how he is going to speak now. So, abadham ananvitam anuviddhena grathitena. The king was speaking improperly, and he was totally overpowered by anger and ignorance, and he has disrespected a great devotee of the Lord. Bhagavat priya niketam ashray bharatakhayena tam sarvabhut sruhit swarupa swapradhini api kripal. So, although the king actually has offended him and he should become angry, but instead of getting angry, he is smiling. And then he gives or shows compassion to him. So he was still carrying this thing on his shoulder. And usually when they carry, they also have one stick in their hand, which has like a V shape on top of it. Because sometimes they have to stop, then they just put this stick under the bamboo rod, and then it's holding it. So he stopped and he put the stick under it, and he started speaking. And when he started speaking, all these other people, they got scared to death. Because they thought, my God, he is going to now speak to the king, and what will happen? This king is going to punish all of us. So they were trying to twist his back. He says, come on, what are you doing? Keep quiet, he is a king. They were poking him with the finger. Because obviously if he talks back to the king, then king can hang all of them. If he gets angry, he is not going to see who was talking. He will get upset with everybody. So they were very scared, but not Jad Bharat, because he knew that now the time has come for me to speak. Pandit Maninam iti tasya kinchin matra jnanitvam sarvagatveneva gyatva. So he knows little bit, but he was thinking that he is a big scholar. Yogeshwar nam charya jadadivat ashranam tasyam tasgyani ityartha. And this king did not know how the great yogis behave. Because a normal person behaves in one way, and enlightened people, their behavior is very difficult to understand because their mind works differently. They have their own thoughts, will, desires, which an ordinary person cannot understand. So the psychology of a normal human being is different. Just as the psychology of a crazy person is different. Somebody who is intoxicated or somebody who is mad, you don't know how they will behave. They are not normal. So similarly, enlightened people are also not normal. They are supernormal. So their psychology is also different. No one can understand what he will do. He could have continued, he could have dropped it, start speaking, whatever, because you can predict the behavior of other carriers, that they will follow the order. They will not do anything which will upset the king, but cannot say anything about Bharat. Smyamana iti asau swam jnaninam janati atha cha jnana vidu uktiriti iva iti tasya bahiniskramat vigat swamaya jnanittu garvanahita. So he was not speaking out of pride, and therefore it is also said vigata smaya, that although he was smiling, but he was not proud at all. And in fact he is standing on the ground and king is on top and he is going to speak to him. So now he speaks, and he also speaks very interestingly. He says that since he was talking a little bit in a learned way, so I will also speak in the same way. Brahmana Vachi said, Tvayoditam vyaktam aviprabalabdham bhartu samesyad yadi veera bharaha gantur yadi sadadigamya madhva piveti rasavna vidham pravadaha. So he told the king that, yes, my dear king, what you say is right. Because the king was saying that, king was sarcastically making fun of him, because he was saying, you are not carrying any load. So he said, yes, what you say is right. He says, the load is for the person who carries, but I am not the carrier, because he is not identifying with his body. And the path is for the traveler, it's not for me. And he said that you are not fat, although he was little chubby. So he said, yes, I am not fat because I am not the body. So he said that the intelligent people don't talk like this. the way you are speaking. So he is even directly telling him that you are foolish because you don't know what you are saying. Must be very bold to speak like that. So ज्ञानी मानिनम एनम ज्ञानेनैव परास्ति कृत्य कृपयिष्यामि इति अभिप्रेत्य. So Bharat thought that he is thinking that he is learned. Therefore I will refute him by learned statements or logical statements, and then I will give him my blessings, my grace. Because first his temperature has to come down. If you want to give instruction to somebody, you cannot instruct when somebody is angry. Nobody will take instructions in an angry mood. So first he has to squeeze the gas out of him and then teach him. त्वया उदितमिति तव विरुद्ध लक्षणया यदुक्तं त्वया त्वं न शान्तो न दीर्घमध्वानं आगत इति तदविप्रलब्धं यथार्थम् एव न तु आक्षेपः. He says what you spoke indirectly or in the opposite way, that you are not tired, you have not travelled a long distance, etc. In fact, this is not false. And this is not any sarcastic remark on me. This is actually true. यतो भरतुः शिबिकावहाकस्य भारो यदि मेमं स्यात् तदा स विप्रलम्भः स्यात् इति सम्बन्धः. He says that actually if I was carrying the load, then your statement would be wrong, that you are not carrying the load, but actually I am not carrying the load. Because I am a human being and I have 2 legs, and the legs which are standing on the ground, then I have torso, and this thing is kept on that. So they are the one who can load, not me. So you are right that you have not, but he said you are not carrying load. Aham dehat bhinno vodha eva na bhavami, because I am not carrying the load since I am completely different from the body. Evam gantur ityadi adhigamyam prapyam sthanadikam adbhava yatvayoktam. So in the same way what you said that you have not travelled, that is also true, because I don't travel. It's only the body which moves. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा प्रकृतः क्रियमाणानि गुणैः कर्माणि सर्वशः अहंकार विमूढ़ात्मा कर्ता हम इति मन्यते. That all the activities they are performed by the physical body, which is made of the 3 gunas of Prakriti, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. But out of ignorance, we say that we do it or we are the doer. So if you walk, it is the body which is walking. If you talk, it is the body which is talking. If you eat, then the food is going into the mouth, into the stomach and out. It doesn't touch you. But we say we do it. You sit in the car. So you went, right? You went to Radharani temple, 50 kilometers. You came back. So you traveled 100 kilometers, but you didn't travel, it was the car which traveled. Right? You just sat on the seat. If the car does not move, you will be still here. So what travels is the car, not you. But you say, well, I went 50 kilometers and came back. So it is the car which travels, but you say, I travel. Like that, it is the body which is doing things, and we are not the body, but we say we do. So Bharat Maharaj, because he is not identifying with the body, so he says, he is telling the king that yes, you are right, I am not carrying, I am not walking, and I am not fat, I am not stout, त्वं पीवा भवसीति तत्र रासौ भूतानां राशि देहे विदां विदुषां प्रवादो न भवति किन्तु सत्यम एव पीवत्वम् इत्यर्थः। मयि चैतन्य स्वरूपे तु प्रवाद कलंके। He says if you speak about the body then it's okay, but not kalanke. स्थौल्य कार्श्य व्याधे आधेयश्च चतुर्ड भयं कलिरिच्छा जरा च निद्रारतिर्मन्युरहं शुचो देहेन जातस्य हि मेन संति. He says that stoutness and thinness, bodily disease, mental sickness, hunger, thirst, fear, desire, old age, sleep, anger, attachment, pride, ego, these are all related to the body, not to me, because I am none of these things. So therefore, what you say is right. न केवलं पीवत्वमेव नास्ति अपितु अन्ये अपि देहधर्मा न वर्तन्ते इति आस्ते. So the king had spoken to him that you are not stout. So now he is saying that yes, I am not stout, and not only not stout, I am none of the anything which you may see. I am also not thin. So if I am not stout, I must be thin. I say I am neither tall nor small, nor stout nor thin, not hungry, not thirsty, not angry, not pleasing, nothing. He says I am none of these things. These things don't belong to me, because they are all qualities of the physical body. देहेन सहयो जातस् तदभिमानी जीव तस्यैव हि निश्चितं संति न तु मे निरभिमानस्. But along with the body, there is Jiva who takes birth, who is identifying with the body. There is a pure self, Atma. And Atma, when it is in association with body, identifying with it, that is called Jiva. They are two separate words. So there is self and then the conditioned self. And this conditioned self starts thinking that I am the body. So he says then it is the conditioned self who takes birth and dies. Although for Atma there is no birth, there is no death. And it is the conditioned self who feels hunger, thirst, because he is identifying with it. So only when we identify with something, then we become involved in that emotionally. You have some of your relatives, your friends, because you identify with them that this is my husband, my wife, my children, my relative, my whoever. So that my means that I am having attachment to that. And then correspondingly I express my emotions. Those people or objects to which we do not have mind, we don't express any emotions. You have your relative and next door somebody else is living. Something happens to that person, it does not influence you, because you are not identifying with that person. Although when something happens to your relative, it doesn't happen to you then also. Somebody falls sick, who is your neighbor, and you are not identifying with that, you don't bother about it. Some of your dear one falls sick, it disturbs the mind. So what is the difference in both cases? In both cases the sickness is not in you, it is in another person, different from you. But in one case you have psychological attachment, and in another one you don't have a psychological attachment. And as long as you have that psychological attachment, then you become psychologically influenced by that. You may also give up psychological attachment to relatives. People marry, then they divorce, they make friendship, they give up their friendship. Then you don't care about that person. Though you may not even know what is happening to whether the person is alive or dead, sick or healthy. Because no more emotional attachment. So he says that when Jiva is emotionally attached, then he goes through these experiences. So that is not only externally, but it actually starts with one's own physical body. First we identify with the physical body. We are born with that identification. Only there are some rare people like Jod Bharat who are not born like that. Because he has done something in his past life, as we read. Otherwise, general mass of people, they are born naturally with this ignorance of their own self. They are not self-aware, they are only body-aware, and then aware of things which are related to body and mind. Because all relations ultimately are through the mind. Even if somebody is your mother, how do you know? What is the proof that somebody is your mother? You are just told. You accept it. Somebody is your father. How do you know? Now of course they do DNA test. But before it was only on the faith. This was just one. There was one priest, he was giving lecture in the church and he was explaining what is knowledge and what is faith. So there was a couple sitting in front and they had their son sitting in the center. So he was saying that this woman knows that this boy is her son. And the father, he has faith. Right? How does he know? It's only faith. So this is faith. Recently there was a news that one girl gave birth to twins. And the interesting thing was that they did DNA test on the twins and they belonged to two different fathers. So when they told to the mother, her jaw dropped. But then she agreed and said, yes, this is true. The day I had relation with my husband, his friend was also there, and after that I had a relation with them. So if this, I don't know why the test was done or for some reason, if the test was not done, the father will think that these are my sons, both are my sons. But that is faith. So all our relations are like that. Through the mind. That's faith in the mind. But ultimately, all this relation comes to an end with the body. When we give up the body and we die, then all our relations are remaining here. We don't remember anything from our past life. We had past life, and in the past life also we must have had some relations. We must have been born to somebody, and we must have also given birth to somebody, father or mother, whatever we were. But do we know anybody now? We might have owned properties. Now who knows where is that property? So with body everything comes to an end, but we don't come to an end with the body. So this is what he is saying. He is saying that I don't relate with the body. So you can say anything, it all applies to the body because you don't know me. You're only looking at my body and passing comments. So this must have been quite heavy for the king to listen suddenly like this. These people who are carrying, they are not scholars. So he must have got a big jolt hearing this. जीवन मृतत्वं नियमेन राजन् आद्यन्तवद्यादि विकृतय दृष्टम् स्वस्वाम्य भावो ध्रुवैड्य यत्र तर्ह्यच्युतोऽसौ विधिकृत्य योगः. So now he is replying with, he said that you are Jivan Mrit, which literally means you are dead alive. So he says that king, you said that I am a walking corpse. And that's what Jivan Mrit means. Like Frankenstein. So he says that all the objects which you see, they all undergo transformation. And everything which takes birth dies. Things which have been created will be destroyed. This is the principle. They all have beginning and end. And as far as you saying that you are the master and you fix my brain, so he said this is only possible when there is a relationship of servant and master. So it is you who are thinking that you are my master, but I am not your servant. So how will you fix my brain? Because he said that Bhartri Shasnam Aticharsi Pramattasya Chate Karomi Chikitsam, that you are not listening to the order of your master. I am going to give you medicine. So it is exactly the word used in Indian language. When you want to fix somebody or punish, you say, I will give you medicine. You need some medicine, which means you need some chastisement now. So there is Karomi Chikitsam Dandapani. Just like Yamaraj, the Lord of Death, is supposed to be the chastiser who gives the results of good and bad deeds. So he carries a stick in his hand, Danda. So he says, like that, I will fix your hand. Yachoktam Jivan Mritoasi इति तत्रपि यः जीवन मृतत्वमिति यदि त्वया मम देहाभिमानित्वमेव निर्धारितं तदपि जीवन मृतत्वं नियमेन ममेव केवलं न किन्तु सर्वस्यैव विकृतस्य परिणामो दृष्टं प्रत्यक्षं. So he says that what you said, that I am dead alive. So even if I accept you, that you are right, he says then, and even if I accept myself in the body, then he says this is not applicable only to me, it is applicable to everybody, including you. So what is so special that you are saying? If I am dead while living, you are also like that. But what is the difference between my body and your body? It's made of the same ingredients, functions in the same way. You took birth, I took birth. You will die, I will die. You are breathing, I am breathing. My breath stops, I die, your breath stops, you die. What is the difference? So why you think you are superior than me? Why is that you sit on top, you think you are the master and I am the servant? What actually makes you that? Right? What is the difference? The king also eats, sleeps, passes through. He also has blood running in his veins, same AB, whatever, O plus, whatever, bones. What is the difference? What makes him better than others? It's only that because people accept it. When they don't accept, the same king is seen running around. Yeah? What is the difference? So he says, what makes you so special that you are calling me Jivan Mrita? And if you are not, it's like you call somebody stupid and you say, what is the difference? You are also stupid. So, what makes you special? Because what is in me is also in you. So, and he says everything you see around is all undergoing change. Everything is constantly changing. Means constantly it is dying. Everything is dying. We are also dying every minute, every second we are dying. So many cells are dying in our body. And we are approaching death. It's not that we die only when people say he is or she is dead. No, death already begins with birth. So, mrityu janmavatam vira dehena sahajayate. That the death, my dear friend, takes birth along with you. Death and you both are born together. And it is continuously following you. A constant companion and continuously eating your lifespan. Every day it is nibbling. One day less, one day less, one day. It's cutting you. Every day. So mrityu dehavatam vira janmanasa hai. Along with the birth and death comes for everybody. So he says, so what is the big deal you are telling me? I thought you will tell me something interesting. So he is actually now trying to show to the king how ignorant he is. So everybody sees this things changing. Yadi asmad vikritam pratikshanam eva adyanti. Because things are changing, everything has beginning and end. यच्चोक्तम भर्तृ शासनमति चर्षीति तत्र है स्वं च स्वाम्यम स्वामित्वं च तयोर भावो विद्यमानं तय सचेत्र तदा ध्रुव स्थिर स्यात्तरि विधिकृत्य सिद्धादि वाहनादिकर्म योगायम जनो युज्यतामिति उच्यते कथते उचितो भवति रूपम यदि तु तव राज्य भ्रंशो मम राज्यं स्यात्तरि तव अहमपि सिद्धिकाम भयं किमिदं करे इत्यादि कथय. So now he is saying that you are saying that you are the master, I am your servant. So he says actually that is also not true. So suppose somebody attacks you, which used to happen in the past, kings used to attack each other. And you are defeated and you run away, you go to the forest trying to save your life. Because if he is caught somewhere, the other king will kill him. The kings know that if you don't kill your enemy, then one day he will come back to take revenge. So they will search many times. They are fighting and the king gets defeated, he runs away. And these days we see also some politicians, they disappear and their life is in trouble. So suppose you are wandering in the forest like this, and suppose I become the king. And I am going in the palanquin, then I will catch you, and I will put you, and I will order you. So then I will be the master, you will be the servant. And it is possible. So why you think you are the master? You can also be the servant. So don't be so proud. So he says, Swaswamiya bhavo dhruva ideyatra tariyachyuto sovidhikritte yoga. So he says this position of Swami or being master and servant is not stable. This can also change. And therefore don't think that you are always in this state. And it is all a matter of fate, vidhikritta yoga. By fate, good fortune, I can also become king. And later on he will tell him that he was a king. He was life, much bigger than him, this Ravana. Vishesha buddher vivaram manakacha pashyamayanna vyavaharatonyat Kaishwarastatra kimishitavyam tathapi rajan karmam kinte. So now he speaks, although he is standing down and king is still up, and he is still not saying that it's alright, I have spoken. He says that you are the king and I am your subject, and you think like this. This is your understanding. Vishesha buddhir vivaram manakcha pashyama yanna yoha. He says at present you think you are the master. You have the power, people listen to you, I am not. So let me give it a chance that I accept it. So now I do not see that there is any other opportunity for me. Although if we see from spiritual point of view, then nobody is a master, nobody is a servant except for God. Because in the spiritual level we are all equal. So, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that one sees a dog eater, an elephant, cow, a brahmana, with the same Suchesva Supakecha Pandita Samdarshina, with the same vision, that person is called learned, Pandit. So at spiritual level there is no difference. The difference is caused only by the physical body. The soul of the male and the soul of the female are similar. There is no distinction at all. All the women try women liberation, but actually at the level of the soul we are all equal. And at the level of body there is difference which will always remain. You cannot do anything about it. Body is different, but soul is similar. So it says at the bodily level you can think you are master, I am servant, I accept. But actually there is no master, no servant. So in any way he says that since you have the ego, O king, that you are the king, so please tell me what service you want from me. So now he is actually trying to humiliate the king. Because by now he understands that the king's anger is finished. King is now realizing that by good fortune I have hit a diamond. You're walking and you hit some stone and then it happens to be a diamond. So that's what has happened. So he has realized this. So now he is telling him that what do you expect me to do? Nanu yavad rajaham tavat tav swami bhavami eviti chet tatraha vishesho raj bhrityadi bhedas tad buddhe vivram akasham vyavaharadannitna pashyami. So the king thinks that as long as I am in this body, I am the master, you are the servant, so I don't see any other chance. So as long as you have this distinction in your mind, okay, I agree that you have this thinking, so tell me what can I do. But frankly speaking, there is no such thing. So he is asking this to the king, Bruhi kim te karvam, just to flatter his ego. So tell me what shall I do? And unmat jadavat swasanstham gatasya me veera chikitsitena arthakyan bhavata shikshitena stabdha pramadta sajapishta pesha. Then he has also said that you are crazy and you are mad and I will cure you. So he is saying that, oh great hero, I am mad, I am crazy, I am dull, and this is how I am. So what will you gain by curing me? Nothing. So the thing is that if I'm mad and I'm stupid, then what is the point in instructing me? If somebody is crazy and you try to teach him, what can you do? You got a patient yesterday, you refused to accept her. But what could you do with her?
Nothing.
Nothing. It was not possible even to speak to her. So if you start giving a lecture to her, just waste of time. So like that he's saying that you are calling me crazy and then you are instructing me. So who is crazy? Both of us. But I am crazy, I agree with you, but you are also crazy that you give me instructions. So you should at least think. And how will you cure my craziness? Because you said, I have a stick in my hand. He says, you can remove my madness by beating me. That is not going to cure me. So, this is the last verse he speaks. यच्चोक्तं प्रमत्तस्य ते चिकित्सां करोमि तत्राहम् उन्मत्तादिवद् वर्तमानस्य वस्तुतस्तु स्वसंस्थाम् अन्तर्निष्ठां गतस्य चिकित्सितेन कायिकेन वाचिकेन वा दण्डेन कियामि. So he says, what you are saying that I am mad and you are going to cure me. The thing is that if I am mad, how can you cure me? By punishing me, either physically or by your words, because he was being very sarcastic, angry. Or he can beat him up. He says, how will that cure me? Tell me. Unless you take me to some Ayurvedic healer. How is it you are going to cure my mind? Because craziness is in the brain. Muktanam अर्थानर्थी और अग्रहणात् यदि पुनरहं न मुक्त किंतु प्रमत्तस्तब्ध एव तदापि शिक्षितेन स्वदण्डेन पिष्टेषेण. So he says, either you think I am mad or you think I am liberated. In both cases, you cannot help me. Because if I am mad, then your beating is like grinding the paste. It is already paste, you try to grind it more, has no meaning. And if I am liberated, then you can't cure anything, I have nothing, no problem. So, nasamyati kintu ati pramattata syat. So basically, if you try to cure me, and if I am crazy, you are going to make me more mad. That's what you will do. So after saying this, he stopped. And then we will read how the king reacts to this. Because king got a big shock of his life. Nobody ever spoke to him like this. So he will jump down from his high position and fall at his feet. And because he got scared that I have really offended some great sage, and what if he gets angry and curses me? So that we will read tomorrow. Is there any question on this?
Yeah, Babaji. The desire to feel that we are somebody. Does it have a lot to do with the desire to conscious or unconscious, to be God, and that is to be somebody, but because we're human
we
beings
don't know
with
God.
limited,
We don't know who is God, so we cannot say it is a desire to be God, but it is the nature of ego is to be superior to others.
Superior.
Yeah, that is the basic characteristic. Just like every object has some qualities. Like water has the quality that it makes things wet, or it flows to the lower level, right? Or you put it on fire, it will extinguish that. That is the quality of water. Like that, mind has certain characteristic. Intelligence also has certain basic characteristic. Ego's characteristic is that it always wants to remain numero uno. Number one.
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
It always wants to remain number one, on top. That's why ego we write as I in English. Right? The symbol is one. Means I am one. I. So everybody has that. And wherever you are, you want to, you try naturally. That I have some superiority, I am somebody, I am not as you think. Therefore many people say, you don't understand me, you don't know who I am. So this is the nature of ego. Whether somebody is a king or somebody is a pauper on the street, they also have. Sometimes there are beggars on the street, and now you give them a coin, they will throw it back to you.
Yes.
And say, what do you think? I am so low?
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, they also have their ego. You may think, and they come with all this very pitiable look, but they don't think that they don't have ego. They also, and among themselves they have their ego. Among the beggars there is a superior beggar who will think that I am better than this beggar. Here if you go in the morning in Vrindavan, every morning you will see a group of people dressed in saffron and sadhus, and they go to different places, basically to beg. They are given food like bhikshus are given. They come here also in one place, go to another, this Motiji, another this side. So some place they get some food, some place they get some tea to drink, some place they get some bread to eat. So they are, every day they go in the morning like that. But they also have one person who is their boss. So he has a stick, he also walks, and if he does not like somebody, he can throw him out, he says, get out. So they're all beggars, but he is the chief beggar. He has his own ego. Even he takes food, I have seen, he doesn't sit with them and eat, he will be sitting separately. So that is the characteristic.
So to know who we really are, which are embodied spirit souls, we have to also know that there is a God, there's someone higher than us, and we really need to try to know, love, and serve that supreme being.
Yes.
That's at least a start, right? Because otherwise we walk around thinking, I am a God, I can do this, I can do that, I am that I am.
Yeah, of course, if you, there is a saying in Hindi that when a camel comes near a mountain, camel always thinks he is the tallest, because all the horse, cows and buffaloes, they are low, and camel is high and even has a neck, the eyes are even very high. But when he comes next to the mountain, then he thinks, wow, there's something higher than me. So unless we recognize God, then we think we are God.
So I've heard people say from time to time, it doesn't matter who I worship. most important thing is that I worship a being higher than myself, no matter what the being's name may be.
Well, it depends what is your purpose. If your purpose is that you want to have a relationship with God, then it's important to know. Just like in the material world, you want to have a relationship.
If you are not selective and you think you're pursuing God, can you pursue the devil?
No, you see, when you pursue God, then you have to have some concept, right? Of God. At least some concept you have to have in your mind. So whatever is the concept, that's what you will reach. Why would you reach devil?
Well, you get deceit. For example, I think I'm doing good to help others, which I think is what God wants me to do. But let's say I do it because I think it makes me better than the others, and I don't realize it, and then I'm not doing it for pure intention. I'm doing it for selfish intention.
Yeah, if you're doing it for selfish intention, then obviously the result will be different. That's why I said that once he was talking about relationship, then you have to know what is the purpose. What you understand when we have to be selective. So purpose is very important. And in our life also, what is important is the intention behind the action. So many times people come and they may praise you. But what is the intention behind it? Are they really appreciating you, or they are actually praising you or flattering you because they want to exploit you?
Yeah.
So in this intention, the purpose has to be made very clear, because the result depends also on that. So Krishna makes one statement in Bhagavad Gita. He says, Yayatha mam prapadyante tams tathaiva jamyam mam vartmanu vartante manushyaha partha. That as people approach me, approach God, so then God also reciprocates in the same way. So which means, as means what is your intention? So then the outcome also will come similarly.
Let's say you're not clear about your intention.
Hmm?
Let's say that you're not really clear about your intention.
Then you have to make it clear. Then the result will also be like that. Like in Bhagavatam, the story of Atri Rishi. He was meditating, and to get the blessing of the Lord, the controller of the universe. But he was not very specific, who is he? So then Brahma, Shiva, Vishnu, all three of them came. Because he was meditating, he is the controller. So Brahma is also controller of the creation, Vishnu is also controller of the maintenance part. So he is also one of the controller. So they all came, and he said, but I was praying only to one, why three have come? So that is because he was not clear to whom he is praying. So if the intention is not clear, then the result also we don't know what will be the outcome. And then you will also not figure it out whether what you wanted, you got it or you didn't get it.
To not be conditioned you really need the grace of God to help you.
Yes.
Otherwise,
It's like king is getting the grace now. Otherwise he will remain in his pride. So you see, this is the first grace when your pride goes down. Because when you are proud, obviously you cannot take good instructions. So first is that he will drop his pride, then he is ready to listen. That's why Bharat is speaking like that. He did not start instructing him, because who is he to instruct him? He is king and I am just carrying him. So first he wants to bring him to the level of relationship, the top of relationship. Instruction can only flow from high to low, like the water. It cannot come from low to up. So first he wants to bring him down to the ground, and then he will instruct.
so if we didn't all want to be like little gods, we'd be in a little better off.
You don't be little gods, you become little godly.
Little material.
Godly.
Godly.
That is sufficient.